Right. Thank you very much indeed. Right, we're into the final presentation of the meeting now. And Mike Ellers is coming up to the stage to give his product update.
Last presentation. Good afternoon. I'm the one in front of who's holding you back from jumping and running to catch a train. That's me. I'm sure you're all looking forward to the journey back. Only a couple quick topics from me today. We'll see if some of them trigger some more discussions or not, but we'll get to that. So the first one is actually just a small change to an existing product that we have been offering since quite a while. And the change, well, in the end, I think I don't have to explain to anybody in this room what private VLAN is, why we're offering it. So far, it has always been restricted that obviously you can only order this between a port that you own and another member. But from day one, when we launched this, there has always been the demand, well, but I want to use this between my own ports. For corner use cases, making use of the bandwidth that's available, that you have available on your ports, or even temporary use cases. So that is now available. You can order it. It's not something we're publishing big. It's not something we're going out and selling it as capacity. Buy 2 ports on LINX and build a private VLAN in between. It's just functionality that's there if you need it, if you use it. I kind of use it as an opportunity as well to just show again, how do I order service like this on the portal? How simple it is and how quick it is. So private VLAN is one of the services that is pretty much fully automated. And if you have ports which are configured already to support these services, you can just go there, choose, in this case, private VLAN, set the bandwidth, choose a port. And there is maybe a bit of a misleading setting that it asks you. It asks you if you want .1Q or Q&Q. It's maybe a bit misleading what it's actually asking you, since by definition, all private VLANs that are configured on our network, they actually support Q&Q. But the engineers in here will know that as soon as you start using Q&Q, you're actually increasing the size of your Ethernet header by 4 bytes. Now, our ports, we're an Internet Exchange, our ports are by definition set to an MTU to allow you 1,500 bytes. Capable services, and we don't really at this point want to increase that. If you change your port, and this is on a port level, to support Q&Q, it actually increases the MTU on the physical port by 4 bytes to allow you across your private VLAN to still support 1,500 bytes. But that means you can no longer use this service to put this port to put a peering service on it, since we really want to prevent having mismatch there. It's a bit of a limitation of the different hardware vendors we have, but that's really what this setting is asking you. Anyway, normally when you order private VLAN, you pick your port where you want your end terminated, and on the next page it's going to ask you, well, who's the second member? The way it works, if member B, obviously you are not going to be able to choose his ports, so what happens here, you search for your member, you put the member name in, it's going to propose you a list of members, you put a contact email in if you know it. If not, we're going to use the Guardian contact, and it's basically going to send that member an invite to join your private VLAN. Now, if you simply put yourself in there, in this case, I'm using LINX, it's not going to ask you anything, and it's going to straight away allow you to choose the second port to provision the service. As with all of these services, it's going to show you the pricing, and that's it, pretty much. You can finish the order, and it will pretty much, if your ports are ready, if you don't order a new port, it will pretty much immediately configure it, and it's going to be available for you. So yeah, in summary, the fees are the same as for any private VLAN. It's fully self-service. And as any of these logical services, you can just cancel them. So the minimum contract duration is really a day. since that's how our billing system works. If you cancel it the following day, you will get charged for for 1 day. That's private VLAN, just a small change. It's based on member demand. As soon as we made it available, we already had an order for it, so we know there are use cases for it. The second one is Maps, an interesting service, a bit of a weird one, but a useful one in certain situations. So we have been offering it since last year on LINX1. And basically what it does, it gives you direct peering with Microsoft 8075, but through a closed user group that's managed by us. So you peer with a root server, and your prefix will get announced directly to Microsoft. So we have direct interconnects with Microsoft. It's a service that they provide in a number of exchanges. It's really one of their ways to, I guess, make their life easier, maybe, to say it like this, since it kind of uses exchanges and a small number of other partners to help them with the number of peering requests that they get. It also means there is no peering policy restrictions that apply. Microsoft's peering policy can be a bit awkward. You need to have a minimum amount of traffic. But as soon as it goes above a relatively small number, you need to move to private peering, and private peering is only 100 gig ports. So there's a lot of networks which kind of fall into the middle of what they can and when you cannot get direct peering. It also means, especially if you're a smaller network, what some people might call end users, you can also announce more specific prefixes. So anything that's smaller than the /24, you can announce those down to /29 directly to Microsoft if you want to. So currently, we're offering it across LINX1 with the ports directly in London. It's available through connections, and it's self-service on the portal. And we're now in the process of also adding it in Manchester and in Nova, which are the two other places where we're in shared locations with Microsoft. So Manchester is currently in the provisioning process, and Nova is going to follow relatively quickly after that. A quick one, just a single slide about a number of updates that are currently getting finalized by the software team in regards to the portal. At the last meeting, we talked about that we have enabled self-service pretty much for all of the logical services, meaning you can order it and they will get provisioned directly without any human intervention, really. So this next step is really allow you to do the same, allow you to do changes to all of these services. That might mean increase or decrease the bandwidth of a service, change the VLAN ID with which VLAN ID it's presented to you, move it to another of your ports, or actually even cancel it. Those services will all be handled wherever it's possible through the automation as fully self-service for all of these services. Some of them, the Cloud Connect services, there are some restrictions, i.e. express route. Microsoft doesn't allow you to downgrade, so you can only do an upgrade, and so on. So whatever the service allow you to do, you can do that fully self-service. And that's currently in final testing, will get released in this quarter. And that was really all I had to say until this morning, when we added this one, kind of as hot off the press. We talked about LINX Manchester. We are in Manchester. We have been talking to Atlas Edge in the past, and we have agreed a partnership with them to bring LINX Manchester into one of their data centers here in Manchester. So the site that we're talking about is basically what probably most people here know as the former Metroplex building that Virgin had in Salford Quays along Broadway. They have plans, they have approval to build 2 additional buildings next to them, but we are going to be building LINX Manchester into their site in the second half of this year, and making that the 5th site for Manchester. Yeah, and that's all I have. Any questions on any of these? Is that a no? Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Yes, so that brings us to the end of LINX119. But if there are any last questions for Mike before we wrap everything up? No? Okay, as I say, we'll be in London for the next meeting on the 16th and 17th of November. That's the Park Plaza. So until then, I'm sure we'll see each other around at various events around the country. Until then, thank you very much. Thank you.